verified the forecast as well. As we left you guys last Friday, if you took the weekend off, the conversations were very much, this is a tropical storm, and when we see you next week, it's going to be a Cat 5 hurricane, most likely.
Yeah.
At that point, the official forecast on Friday was calling for a Cat 4, but we were having those discussions with our Fox Weather viewers that that was not going to be, you know, the glass ceiling on the intensity, that it could very much in fruition become a very potent storm.
And not to, you know, brag on any specific model, but the Google AI models, the ensemble members were all showing, I think with the exception of about 3 or 5, of it becoming a category 5 as recent as yesterday. So the fact that that was shown, because remember, these ensembles are supposed to be a gauge of confidence. The more one outcome is shown, the higher your confidence grows. This is important. The Air Force, the C-130 that's right now been flying through the hurricane all morning, it's about to make another pass. This is probably the final pass. Maybe they'll do one more before the 11 o'clock update, but that pass is going to be important because it is going to indicate if this thing is really strengthening, and those important drop zones that we're getting. We've got a storm right now that has tropical storm force winds that extend 195 miles out from the center. So you're talking nearly 200 miles out from the center. But these are the alerts, and I know we'll talk more about the other islands, including Cuba. But we've got hurricane watches all the way up into the Bahamas.
And Cuba's impacts aren't even until tomorrow night into Wednesday. Turks and Caicos is Wednesday into Thursday, and then Bermuda is Thursday into Friday. So this is truly something that will be impacting a lot of people all the way through the remainder of this week. There's a look at the trajectory. We'll pick up that forward motion after Wednesday. That's when we finally start to see this thing moving and gaining some territory.
Yeah, you know what's crazy? Even in Jamaica, the mountains aren't going, I mean, it will weaken the storm.
Yes, it will.
But this is still maybe going to, the NHC,
it's probably still going to be a major hurricane when it hits Cuba.
A Cat 4 emerging on the other side of Jamaica. So it will be disrupted somewhat, but for this thing to move over the island and to still maintain that hurricane force is, major hurricane is remarkable. So the path itself is one that all week we'll be following. This is our Fox weather model, an indication. Notice how the rain is being picked up in Kingston specifically, but where we're going to have the most intense winds right around that eye wall. This is noon today, and we'll just play it out. Not much movement. We probably will see by tonight that turn north, right? And then as it does, depending on, this is just one model run, but tending to like that slightly more western route or left of cone scenario, the Fox weather model is, but still making a landfall. And it could very well happen at around 8, 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. But the whole time, Kingston is on that wetter or dirtier side of the hurricane, getting the rain.
And the worst trajectory for surge impacts as well. So flooding, a big impact for Jamaica in regards to freshwater flooding and also for surge flooding.
I know we got to go, but this mega band too, this huge rain band that we could see over Haiti, that's why the National Hurricane Center is mentioning how some communities in Haiti could get cut off for a while if this does end up playing out, because as that slowly moves, that band's going to try to stick around for a minute.
I never experienced anything like this. I category 4, I category 5. Last time we had a bad disaster like this was like when I was a kid with Hurricane Gilbert.
Yeah. And, you know, almost 40 years later, we brace for Melissa. We wait, we watch as Jamaica braces for this behemoth. Melissa is expected to be the strongest hurricane to make landfall in Jamaica. We'll focus on Jamaica as we return here on Weather Command.
This is not play a thing, you know. This is not play a thing. It's a, hey, people, knock on some light that alone, so. Because this is a serious thing. This is not something for them play with, you know.
They said I got scammed.
Yeah.
But then I showed them what they could do.
Yes.
Now they're all begging me to send them the link.
So this is something for them play with.
And they're not like the glasses.
So we are showing them say real. Can you have some people, you know? I'm gonna put that van and I'm gonna put this van.
Across the room. Seriously, they correct both farsightedness and nearsightedness without needing a prescription. It's like getting perfect vision on demand.
Hold on, let me put this.
No doctor visits, no eye tests.
Yeah. So this now, this morning, bless up. Now for us make this go and run, you know, and go and talk to some people on the ground. See? So me I make this go and run. Go and talk to some people on the ground and see where I go and tree drop, some light post, knockout. Nothing I go on right now, no. Ground saturated. Right? So some people don't have no current right now. Some tree drop already. I'm not reach it. Nothing I go on. Yeah. So this is not a play thing. But one good thing me I said though, and Joe, same like how the other day you have Black Tank around the election. If them people now wake up by this guy, them are idiot, you know. Them are talk about labor right. Them for suffer. I remember, you know, we don't want the loss of life. Yeah. You don't have no light neither, pound. Yeah. Renika, you don't have no light. You better where you at? Which part of the parish you at? Which one of the parish you at? Renika. Which one of the parish you at? Yeah? So your banana, you think them gone. See? Let me tell you something. If them even clean the drain with the water run off hard, it not work. So enough people get flood out. And when it flood out, enough of the structure gone because the Andrew one is. And enough of them guys, you know, you see one of people. Hey, I got on my stay now. Yeah. Friday come your birthday. Friday? Oh, Friday gone was the birthday. To that one. My daughter won a couple days time. You know Portland? You know my place? Yeah. You know my place, right? Yeah, man. So don't get a gun to yes. All right. So Vaz, you send some all bus to the people then. You send some all bus to them. Yeah? Yeah. You send some all bus to the people then, Vaz. All right. Yes. She said send some all bus to them, man. All right. So some people now, the other day, them get tank and them run up and down. And let me tell you this. No people won't even follow Andrew if I not handle. This are us, the labor right, them kind of style. We sell themselves. No, you no want the help and nobody knows who know. Them come and walk themselves. Then go on a black tank and me ask anyone who know if they come and send come full it. Forget one black tank me people say you do great work. I know taxpayers' money. It's a own stupid. Eh? Somebody get a tank that say what to my neighbor. How about this far? Yeah, in a voting, but no, when a life and death, you know, see them. We know how to learn, you know, so nobody no business doing it, you know. We say we can't park the island after this. Fling on the one side and make us stay with Andrew. Because we don't have no head. We could want to keep some other way there. No, them not have no head. That's the truth. Right now, the things them whether them did I get. Nobody not see them. And they are testing, you know. You say Andrew do good and build infrastructure, but you still infrastructure crumble that it's not even clean. It's so mashed up and deteriorated. The man destroyed the place, not no maintain. And it proved front of uno. Mr. Some now on TV last night. I said, them I know them never get fixed back from last year. You know why they did quiet? When I do a chat, hand out. We don't have no roof. We mash up from last year. We never stay mash up. Licky cause this. Licky cause this. We know we stay mash up. Me don't talk. Me put up at this.
get very scary as we go past sunset tonight. There's a look at the watches and warnings, a hurricane warning for the entirety of Jamaica. We also have Cuba included in the hurricane warning, and then tropical storm warnings remain in effect for Haiti and the extension of Cuba past the hurricane warned area.
Eastern Cuba, Guantanamo, they're going to be under the threat too. And there's a growing threat that in Cuba we could have landslides because of the heavy rain that we'll see. It's going to start picking up speed after it passes over Jamaica, but still going to take another direct hit.
And the speed could be a huge contributing factor for Jamaica because these intense impacts that they will be feeling will last for hours and hours. Let's break this down per impacts. We're going to start with the wind. There's a look at the satellite. The eye feature very prominent, and that's where the worst of the winds will be, is right up against this eye wall. If this is still an intensifying hurricane, which right now, given what we're seeing with the reconnaissance data, it likely will be. That means that the eye wall will still be in contact unless we go through an eye wall replacement cycle, which would be a wild card that could maybe help us.
It could, because it could go through that weakening phase, and the Hurricane Center has been very clear. Knowing when that ERC, the eye wall replacement cycle, will occur is very tough to forecast. It's just something you have to watch on satellite.
You see it start happening on satellite, and then you know it's going to happen. So now cast feature, but I think it's important to reference what you started this conversation with. A Cat 4 and Cat 5 is the same for Jamaica. I mean, we're talking about the worst impacts they've ever felt. Now, if you look at the trajectory of the eye, just off of our exclusive Fox weather model, calling for that pass over Jamaica between 8 a.m. on the South Shore to about noon on the North Shore. This is just one model, one representation. But you look at the winds, you're like, okay, you guys are showing me numbers of 30 to 40 miles per hour. The thing is, it's very hard to capture the strongest wind gusts. So this is what the model is calling for the most dramatic wind gusts. Anywhere between 90 and 100 miles per hour is sort of the upper echelon for this particular computer model. Again, when you're talking about wind gusts that I think all of us are assuming will be over 100 miles per hour for the peak wind gusts, we are talking about catastrophic impacts to the infrastructure.
And I want to mention too, because the Hurricane Center pointed it out, the winds that are going to be felt at higher elevations will be, and the stat that they use, the percentage, 30% stronger. So think of a 160-mile-an-hour hurricane. If those winds are 30% stronger, that's roughly 50 miles an hour. So you add that to whatever those maximums.
That's where people are going. You hide from the wind, you run from the water. And when you're talking about a storm surge, especially for this stretch, Kingston, you know, the southeastern part of this island is where we'll see the peak storm surge, possibly 12 to 13 feet. Everybody's running up towards the mountains, which of course is going to expose them to those dramatic winds. Again, that trajectory really pushes a huge amount of water onto the south-facing shores. Kingston, depending on where this comes in, it could be in for the most dramatic water rise because you're talking about
13 feet
days amplifying the storm surge.
Airport, which is on a barrier island in Jamaica, south of Kingston, is an elevation of 3 feet. It is a low elevation airport.
So in worst case scenario,
island,
10 feet of water on those runways.
Totally flooded.
Worst case scenario.
Yeah, and the causeway,
10 feet.
one access point that we have to the airport, because there's one access point, it's a causeway, and it goes over the bay, and that too could endure a significant storm surge. If this does move, which it looks like it will, just west, because remember that eastern side is always the worst.
There's a look at this causeway. Sorry, I should have pulled it up while you're having the conversation, but this is the causeway that Stephen was mentioning. So again, water inundation, surge impacts, it destroys the infrastructure. Moving past this disaster, the response efforts will be dependent on access to the airports. Of course, you got helicopters, but I mean, this is an
people for move, man.
The island post-hurricane is going to be critically important. Moving on to some of the other aspects, the rain, we already have picked up rain from Melissa. That is only going to grow. And we're looking at rain projections of 30 to 40 inches. And when you're throwing it on mountaintops that are very high, above 7,000 feet, this is going to lead to landslides and mudslides. So we're talking about every single impact of this hurricane just adding up to what could be catastrophic impacts for Jamaica. Their highest mountain is Blue Mountain. That's over 7,000 feet. You throw, 30 plus inches of rain on that, it's going to come cascading down every hill.
And you had mentioned that you run from the water. heading to higher elevations, a good idea from a perspective of Jamaica, but make sure that that building is not prone to flooding, that there's not going to be overwashed.
We are say 40 feet
as far away from them. So anybody you know loves in Jamaica, I mean, that's the word of advice. Get into a sturdy structure.
And being able to be self-reliant for over a week.
Yeah.
I mean, there's going to be a lot of stories that come out.
None of them move, Gaza.
Little segments of the population that are stuck and isolated for an extended amount of time. So you think about water needs for any sort of first aid if there's injuries, and food to sustain your group that you're riding this out with. Also, the highest risk level for rain-triggered
people are doing, you know,
is close to the most populated spots.
Yeah, no doubt, and that's where the highest peaks are in Jamaica. So as we focus and continue to focus on Melissa, we've got storms for ourselves. Stateside actually had some as early as this morning. Take a look.
There's a tornado in the parking lot.
Oh. All right, so
imagine that. Looks like a pretty violent one, right? This was yesterday, a driver capturing a tornado tearing through a parking lot in Jackson County, Mississippi. This is coastal Mississippi. Another video of the same tornado.
All right, maybe I'm going to talk about that. This frightening look a while though. You're frightening look a while now. Them just say, right over airport, that's up 10 to 13 feet. Your house are like 8 feet, right? You're talking about like a 2-story building. Them over Port Royal not safe. Them over Port Royal not safe. You not safe. Mono run risk with the car, people like a drown. If it come up to that and running like a tsunami, then people going to drown. Yeah. Them happy. Andrew, why may I tell you? Why? No drain, no clean, and nothing at all. Yeah. Yeah, man. See? Not clean. This wrong. Not true, Richard. Eh? The man not do nothing. And let me tell you again, you know, I love how I stay, you know, because hear this. Let me tell you something, people. I better people say you're miserable or something, but speak truth to power. If something not do, remember people are get your taxpayers' money. If you clean the drain, you maintain the infrastructure. Now the labor right them run out, now I play part politics. And upon Hanjo, after Hanjo over the years, you know, to the same now have the money to do nothing. You see a little bit pile up, right? You come an election, Hanjo, input out some little booklet, talk to some old people who can read and write. Here where them out with Hanjo, you saw the infrastructure, Hanjo build up infrastructure, you can't build up infrastructure. And the infrastructure still like this. You drive and see the patrol, them say the man no maintain not even the road. That are the infrastructure, the bridges, the roadways and everything for clean and everything, him not do none. 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 But when you help run out with the garbage, eh? Help run out with the garbage and a chat bull crap. Yeah? You help run out with the garbage and chat bull crap because you get a black tank and some chicken. The chicken can't help you now. Him give some plywood for batten up your house. We not found it. When you get plywood for even before you leave. When you get kind light giving him and him wife and the one I live right there. When you get plywood now for batten up anything, when you get one house full of food who stay. What you get? Yes. So that alone are the biggest huge, you know. Was a natural waterway and then build it like that. And if the man make it stay so for a decade, what that tell you about Jamaica and the system? A matter of fact, the first in the history, every time rain fall, everywhere in Jamaica flood. It never used to happen. Never. The whole place, halfway tree, crossroad, some place where I see water back up in there, you know. Remember them places that run off, you know? No gully, every gully black. Every gully black. No blame the one them who have vote for him run up and down like idiot. You understand? No, them life in a danger, you know. You know why I'm not do better? Because them now run out to the idiot thing. And now realize that the handout and you self-centered. And him not do no work. I work, you want him for work, you know. Not for make him sit down and not do no work. So you need him for work. And instead of you make him work, you make him sit down there and do no work. I know the whole of us, everybody has suffer because the whole of us idiot. The whole of us run up and talk about labor right. Una idiot, una said. Eh? You live in an area and nothing. Let me show you how them stay now. Doctor does a one week, 1 month, 1 week, and around 2 days. Him swearing. Yeah? Yes. 1 week, 1 month, and 2 days. The man swearing. And then you have some labor right idiot. Remember, you know, even for December next year, remember you have 100 for 10 years. Them from the government, them the purse. You put up a gully, doctor dog, then who are going to follow you? We're going to look down as a piece of shit. Because you have a guy named Sam the American Eagle right there, and him not clean, no way. I want to sit down with him. Another man that just come in 1 month, me see the PMP, them have to run up and down and clean the place. Then you now put up video like it and make you reach nowhere. When you elect them to do what they do and make sure you're safe. Don't play politics. Don't put up garbage. Don't do it. No man, listen. Me couldn't follow because me couldn't follow Labour Party. You do Jamaica too much wickedness. Can't do it. I'm telling the truth. Yeah, them telling the truth. Me could have lived through and see what going in the 70s and me have a black road and then follow them. And I think when people are invade your place, I true I can tough them couldn't invade we now. Yeah, sir. Yes. But you still have a black road. 80 election the Kwagwan and leave inside on the bundle. You can't, support these things. There is no way no man could have talked to me and me support these things. Elephant memory will not support it. Them evil. See? But when will come out, when they have no one attack, say. Yeah? And you go in a St. Thomas. And I tell you about forgotten parish and Kentucky. The man who is at Kentucky, at this Kentucky give high blood pressure. A fat and salt. We don't have no Kentucky and stoplight and that put in a modern day. Look how low him take on. You think me could have run in my ear and me not correct him? Me not gross up. Yeah. Eh? You could have talked to me, so. Me there sent up and say talk to me, so. I mean, you could have make you talk this. I say, no, man, you're embarrassed for now. That's an embarrassment. Because you have some place, them mother and same about them like the nature. Them don't want a concrete jungle in them place. Them just want some mother's place, them good. I stop like them put in a modern days. That is bullshit. And you know bullshit. Yes. Where me live, and no matter, but me not no stoplight in where me live. I go up on the road. And no place me not see no place nicer than where me live. No. In a Jamaica, no. Panil, that's a place that not ready yet. But Beverly Hills, no. See? So when them just go and play upon their conscience all the time, not doing nothing. Nothing. Let me go back to this, and then we just snap back. Let me go back to this.
That the harbor will be for the next 24 to 48 hours. The island, though, already experiencing, as we've been showing you this morning, some of Melissa's outer rain bands. But things are going to dramatically go downhill as we head toward the afternoon and the evening. Welcome back inside Studio W, a strengthening hurricane. That's what Melissa's doing this morning.
We're awaiting the latest advisory from the Hurricane Center. It will be coming by the top of the hour, so make sure that you stay with us. But we're anticipating probably to see the winds come up. Last reconnaissance flight that took a pass through the storm picked up a wind gust of 177. Again, makes a big difference in regards to what we'll see come down from the NHC. But Melissa, it's a monster, and it's on a collision course right for Jamaica. And this is not only going to be historic for the island nation, but it could be catastrophic. Jamaica's prime minister spoke this morning about how local agencies are getting ready to respond.
National agencies, ADPEN, the JDF, the JCF, the NWA, and our first responders are on high alert.
Yeah.
Have been prepared, supplies pre-positioned, and emergency teams are standing by across the island. We also issued an order under the Trade Act to prevent price gouging.
Yeah, what am I talking about?
Profit from the hardship of a disaster.
Yeah, what am I talking about, people?
And unfortunately, hardship is almost inevitable.
More price gouging in life we are talking about.
A direct tip by Melissa to Jamaica. So this view that we have, the Caribbean, what a story this season alone. Not a single named storm has been in the Caribbean until now. And only in the Caribbean have we seen this thing grow from a tropical
overnight for Jamaica
became a storm to a tropical storm and now a hurricane. I mean, watching how it was only the Caribbean here that we've seen this extreme rapid intensification. Tropical storm force winds now extend more than 150 miles away from the center. And it's very, very well likely that we could be watching the wind field expand if we do get a eye wall replacement cycle with Melissa before it makes landfall. We're going to talk more to Brian Norcross at the top of next hour, so keep it here. But you see where it's at in relation to Jamaica, getting closer and closer. Certainly already feeling the effects, or Robert Ray has been there. But this pressure so low at 913, the movement so slow, west at just 3 miles an hour. And as we've been taking a look at how it's appearing on infrared, there's a lot that we can gather. The extremely cold cloud tops that we have, notably on the southwestern quadrant or in the southwestern quadrant. The strongest winds, though, as hurricane hunters have been detecting, actually in the northeastern quadrant. A unique movement, though, we do have the historical track that we've seen Melissa take. And if you checked out on Friday, coming back online today,
what?
It hasn't moved much. I mean,
no light on water, Michelle.
Friday, it's only moved about 180 miles, less than 200 miles as the crow flies, but it has certainly had more of a chaotic nature to it. And you see that past track and how this has meandered, loitered through the Caribbean. And then here's the forecast cone where we could possibly see the center. This is only tracking the center, which the eye wall is the most intense portion of the hurricane, where we could see those effects. And really from Montego Bay all the way to Kingston, we're going to feel those impacts. If nothing itself could be catastrophic. We have, Britta, with the latest advisory, hurricane watches get issued. It does include the Bahamas, because even after Jamaica is hit, Melissa's story is not going to be wrapped up then.
No, and for the Bahamas and Turks and Caicos, they will feel impacts tomorrow night through Wednesday. So their time to respond and get ready is right now. Different setup for those islands. They are relatively flat in comparison to Cuba and Jamaica and Haiti. So that's going to make a difference in terms of the type of flooding that we'll see. But also Melissa will be a different storm at that point. Still very formidable and a huge threat to those nations, but a little different than what we're going to see. and the weakening will be the high terrain of Jamaica.
Yeah, you know the sound.
The problem is,
you have sound now?
Turks and Caicos, much lower line.
Right? You have sound?
Oh, yes.
Made from coral. The storm surge could be devastating.
You know the sound?
Because it's a previous, and already with the key messages, I wanted to make sure the word, because they don't just pick randomly adjectives, the Hurricane Center does it. They
everything is intentional.
Life-threatening storm surge expected for Southeast Bahamas and Turks and Caicos. So
and there's not many high points on those islands to get to. When it comes to storm surge, you run from the water, you get to higher ground, and there's not a lot of available space.
Yep, it's gonna happen. I'm gonna move through Jamaica first, and then farther to the north throughout the week.
Now, Melissa has already lashed parts of Haiti and the Dominican Republic. Heavy rain has been the contributing factor. Again, a much weaker storm. This video coming out when Melissa was still a tropical storm. The Dominican Republic's civil defense forces, they had to step in and help families and pets. Banai in Dominican Republic was hit very hard this past Friday. You can take a look at these rescue workers in knee-deep water. That puppy, a small person also having to be aided as well. So flash flooding over Hispaniola, the collective island of the Dominican Republic, and Haiti, a headline as we take a look at this video coming in. Stay with us here on Weather Command. We'll be right back.
Hey there, it's time for Fox Weather Deals, where we bring you exclusive discounts on fantastic products just for you to start.
All right, so I'm going to talk something meanwhile I'm tell about the Fox deal. Yes, all right. So one is a talk about price. Look where I'm going to. You know, I'm not to talk to people, you know. We are talking about life. It's when you talk about life and limbs and everything. You going too far now talk about price gold, but you know say after this, price are going to go up. But you talk and so what am I doing, you know? Put something in your head now. So when somebody come, remember, you know, if you have any food left to buy, because tree are popped down, you know this. In everywhere when things scarce, price go up. Him can't tell you what to tell your product. If you are going to get a truck, if you carry something and the man are charge you, he used to charge you 100,000. But him said 300,000. What you say now, pay? So when him carry the thing come, what you do? You give the people them free so they can block you. For please, Andrew, one is all the matter is bullshit. In every country when you have things short like this, things go up. So I don't know what you see where man say man do something. We have price cut. Man, listen, you have to go in, man. Your teeth are leg and you cause this. Can you create that people them run back at you are hungry and wanga got? Eh? If you care for the people, then me see how people are put out and say, you know, God said the PNP not in power because, you know, them that raise up taxes. And this is one is a kid with taxes. I mean, just ask a simple question. Anybody else can tell me any time at all, any item where you get cheaper now? Yeah? Whether in a food, whether your house material, whether your rent, whether your taxi fare, whether the charges, when I'm charging your motorist now, in your light bill or water rate, tell me where you get cheaper right now than when Mama P in. You saw them fool and I run up. Will, you're better off now. The man evil. You think man leader said this? You could have buy chicken back for nothing. And how much you pound for chicken back now? And that way they went and to talk when if you run him away. Me I tell him I talk to critical thinkers. So I saw me not them, you know. Me ask them, I want to spread this. Ask them, tell me about the flour, the rice, what, chicken back for nothing. What was the chicken in a Mama P time? 397 chicken back, you know. A chicken back that, John? How much was the chicken back in a 2014 and 2015? How much a bus fare back then? $100. How much it now? $100 for bus, you know? In taxi fare? £4. Yes, still Andrew compare And these idiot people are put up things and say, yeah man, in a PMP time, they put a new tax one because they're an idiot. Tell me the new taxes. Name one of the new taxes where they put on. Name them. The man are taxing you through no teeth. Seat belt at $500. And right now, seat belt at $5,000, 1,000 times. And you did that one bag of bullshit. Eh? $80 for your pound. And how much time? 80 going how much? How much time 80 going at 390? How much time that 80 going at 390? How much time 80 going at 390? 480 at 32, you know. I still have 70, you know. Yeah? How much time? I nearly 5 times. Yeah? You see that? Nearly 5 times, that's 390. Some places are 4, 5 times the amount you used to pay for that. Chicken parts. Yeah, chicken parts. So $80. How much was that chicken parts? How much was to the back? Yeah? Who not joker? Who know a joker? And then make the man come out and attack one bag of bullshit. Eh? Eh? How much your bread? How much your toothpaste? How much for your food? And he might tell you, say, you better off now. And then you repeat that. Although you suffer. You know, wake up, man. Get real and wake up. Yeah? Get real and wake up. See? Everything with the man talk about a lie. Even the dollar where you buy, a 160 had no feet. It was 121. The spending power. Hey, brother, yo, 700 it was 2. What much of bread? Chicken wing alone have for $600. No, man, you can't serious. Chicken wings? No, sir, Gaza. Man, a joke you make. Chicken wing for $600 a pound? Chicken wing. Yeah. $10. Me sure your woman buy $60 worth of grocery, like a tongue, like some little crackers. $60,000. That could buy material. That could buy material. Yeah, city. That could buy material. See? It could have. Yeah. He might blame the storm now, you know. So the storm did the skirky right. See bread there? Paula say $900. Anything where you hear them come, hey, people who start push back, you know. Whether online and them thing, and tell them, say, yo, let me tell you one thing if you do, you know. Always keep it real. If you don't know, do your fact checking, because you couldn't live. I make Andrew come tell us right now your best time. But you know, say a lie. Yeah? And you repeat the lies. He will never do better. He no need to do no better. He just need to say the lie and then you repeat it. That's why I'm telling Big Mama for go to prison. If it's a piece of shit against the people of Jamaica. Yeah. You understand? Sardine and crackers and biscuit. Yeah. So that him say if he have the document, him can't tell nobody that. A matter of fact, in a them kind of time, yeah, you don't need documents to get assistance. Can you have your house and if you run left documents and the one that destroy? You know, see, me not tell you, so hold on. So all you give people black tank and them thing there without documents and chicken and everything, but no, them have to bring documents for life and death. For our own taxpayers' money, I stink him stink. Remember here what them say right so.
Recorded from a hurricane in the Atlantic Basin. You might remember the year 2017. This actually matches the pressure reading of Hurricane Maria. which devastated Puerto Rico. A powerful Category 5 hurricane. In fact, from the National Hurricane Center discussion, they're calling this a classic strong hurricane. There was one important note too, Britt, I can bring you in on this, that was highlighted by Kevin France, one of our producers, talking about the hurricane hunters had to leave the storm early because the turbulence was too bad. It was too strong.
Wow.
That says something. These planes are built for this, and also their staff is built for this. They go into wild storms to collect critically important data to put into our computer models, but also to allow us to do real-time adjustments as what you've seen with the winds now being clocked at 165. They take this data and they have to interpolate it and standardize it to make the official updates come in. But wow, to have them say we're turning around.
Yeah. And for us, it's a bit surprising because that was in the southwestern portion of the eye wall. This thing's moving east to west, and so to have that type of turbulence in the eye wall is
then come out of the eye wall, people.
There haven't been any changes to the alert, so we still have hurricane watches up for the Bahamas, Turks and Caicos, hurricane warning for Jamaica. I do want to get to the cone because over the next 12 hours, the forecast is for Melissa to maintain its intensity, and the forecast is still calling for a Category 5 to make landfall in Jamaica.
Backside.
And they know that
over 150 miles per hour here.
There could be some fluctuations, but overall, this isn't a good thing for Jamaica.
No, and when you're talking about a Cat 4, Cat 5, as local agencies have stated, and also the National Hurricane Center, there's no real difference to what Jamaica is about to go through. It will be historic, and it will be, unfortunately, catastrophic. The strongest winds will be within the eye wall. So I will say if we see
Sentiments flood.
An eye
You
wall,
don't get nothing yet, it not start.
Maybe that can mess with the structure. But again, those are all very small, minute details that in the end of this likely will not matter. This is going to be, unfortunately, a life-changing event for Jamaica.
We of course are driving home the fact that it doesn't matter if it's a Cat 4 or Cat 5 at landfall. The National Hurricane Center continuing to say that with this latest discussion. You see how that cone, and this is a new product, the newest from the advisory, so there haven't been changes to this. It's at first expected to turn northwest, and then it is going to take a bend toward the northeast. And it's as it makes that bend toward the northeast and it eyes up the coast of Jamaica, that's when we'll be ready for the most intense portion. It's remarkable to see the eye here. It almost looks like from visible satellite that it's trying to just get maybe a little smaller. And you know, we'll see. The sun's now up, so we're able to get a much better vantage point, but to be able to see
in the same one in the car, you know.
Actions can happen before an eye wall replacement cycle happens. If that were to occur and the finishing of that eye wall replacement cycle occurs before landfall, it would make this worse because then the wind field would be growing.
We got the winds.
Backside.
They will be destructive. We also have the intense rain. We are still calling for the NHC saying that isolated areas of more than 40 inches possible in the island of Jamaica. And that's just one island, of course, Haiti, Cuba, the Bahamas, Turks and Caicos, all going to feel those impacts.
And at the top of the hour, we have exclusive analysis from Fox Weather Hurricane Specialist Brian Norcross on the new advisory that we just got in from the National Hurricane Center. You don't want to miss it.
160 miles per 65 miles per hour now, when people. That's a little down the little boat sack, you know. Jamaica in a danger, you know. Hold on, let me just move this because.
Open up to a world of quality.
Jamaica in some real danger, you know. Yeah, Jamaica in some real danger. Yes. You see? 165 miles per hour now, you know. That's over 200 kilometers per hour, you know. Over that, you know. Because 100, that'll be 160 kilometers per hour. That's over 200 kilometers per hour now, you know. No building. You have some building where, although they have wall up, it's knock it. It's not so strong. Yes. And the sea, and they might tell about the sea search. Be sure him does so much, like 13 feet. Over airport. That to cover a 2-story building, you know. That to reach up where you sleep. Till you see water surge running in the ice and a leaking. It fling water in your place, man. See? And over there's a low line. So the people in my Port Island have to be careful. Have to be careful. Yes. See? It's dangerous. And by 12 o'clock, them say, well, look out to see where I go by 12. And then deteriorated by down in the night and early in the morning. Kind of creeping like a Nicodemus, you know. Yeah. Yes. You have some people down there say, you know, we pray. Like them take God for a little place stuck. You know, we pray. We are blessed place and we're so sinful. Let me tell you something. It's when you go through a problem and you know identify them, you can't fix. Yeah. Yes. Can't fix. So if you not identify them, so Jamaica have the most church per square mile per capita. But most of them sinful. Them pastor, none of them are pedophile, they lie, them are thief, them are mix up, them are everything that's bad. No, one time nobody not tell them these things. No, the church, but it's true. And money them are look. Them are criminal. Them not build church up on Beverly Hills, you know. Or up in a Narbuck or in a certain place, them build it in the ghetto. Yes. Yeah. Them build it in the ghetto. Why them build it in the ghetto? Yes. Why them build it in the ghetto? Then can, you know, when people go through hardship, them are well on pan God for get the blessing. Let me see what I go on here, so.
Already one for the history books, likely a catastrophic Category 5 hurricane barreling toward Jamaica. Melissa now
history book,
the lowest pressure in the Atlantic on record this late in the
people.
Year. The previous record, coincidentally, also on October 27th, but back in 1998.
You hear this?
Mitch, where it was able to achieve a remarkably low pressure of 910. But you see the stats behind me. Melissa has now plummeted down to 908 millibars. And
hey, that's strong enough, people.
Just a little bit from the National Hurricane Center. It's a powerful storm, and it could maintain its intensity as it moves toward Jamaica. At the top of the hour, we want to bring in Fox Weather hurricane specialist Brian Norcross, looking over the latest forecast. Brian, it's a concerning one. Yet again, we have this storm that could very well maintain its Cat 5 intensity as it approaches land.
Yeah, and Stephen, even if it doesn't, what that probably means is it will grow bigger. And in actual fact, a bigger storm that's Cat 4 is worse overall because more areas are affected by the winds than even a smaller storm that's Cat 5. But in any case, all this is catastrophic for the areas that are going to get this. They measured so the Air Force hurricane hunters out there flying through the storm, along with the NOAA P3 you discussed earlier about the fact that P3 had such violent turbulence in the southwestern eye wall that they departed the storm. Usually they do that just to be sure that there's nothing wrong with the aircraft. But the Air Force hurricane hunters dropped these instrument packages down through the storm, and they're to measure the pressure. But they also this time dropped it in the eye wall, and they measured 240 mile-an-hour winds at elevation. But this just informs you on what the mountainous areas in Jamaica could experience. Now, won't be quite that because it will be inland to some degree, but incredible winds up above the ocean. I mean, matching the spectacular Category 5 winds on down at the sea surface. So 165 miles per hour is the measurement from the hurricane hunters, just creeping along at 3 miles per hour. The water is so warm and deep there, it's stirring up water, which may be holding it back a little bit, believe it or not. But there is very warm water water underneath. So the analysis by the scientists that look at this is, yes, they might get some cooling from the slow movement, but not a lot. On 908 millibar pressure, just incredible. All right, there's the close up on it, and you can make out that it's leaning a little bit left. Actually, the Google model has shown that before it would do that and then turn back on up into the southwest coast.
Hey, it's a lick them enough.
Jamaica, and then a corridor on
People,
that island.
who know St. Elizabeth what go make?
I guess a little bit.
Who know where gets to St. Elizabeth?
The people that are going to be in the way of this, it's just
see that?
hard to imagine. But Kingston will be not in the worst of it, it looks like. But the heavy rain is already moving into the island. We're kind of blocked there because there are mountains right in there that the radar doesn't go over, so that the moisture actually goes farther. Here you can see, obviously.
St. Elizabeth, where it going, you know? It'll go there again, you know?
Kind of make out the green area, trying to move around the eye. That might be an indication that there is an outer wall trying to form, which would be the storm expanding and maybe weakening a little and then contracting back again. There's still plenty of time before landfall for that to happen. That just moves the most dangerous part of the storm farther away from the center, farther in the direction of the capital and the population concentration, of course. So there is how big the storm is analyzed to be by the National Hurricane Center. These are 40+ mile-per-hour winds now encompassing all of Jamaica, especially at elevation now.
But a
lot of mountains there, a lot of wind now just moving in. But this is where the heart of it is, and the core of the storm is down in there, whereas for the hurricane force, sustained winds are, and then less than that for the spectacular Category 5 winds. All right, let's go forward in time. So here we are this morning, and by this evening, you see it doesn't move a whole lot, but it's moving in the direction of Jamaica by this time. There are the hurricane force winds, and then the super strong winds are in a smaller area inside that. Well, 165 is forecast for this evening. Going to tomorrow morning, just about landfall time, 8 a.m. Eastern time. That would be 7 a.m. local time.
Nobody can see the hurricane, man. It's called seeding.
This is very
no, sir.
Depending on those inner workings inside.
Sweat, take up from.
There you can see where the
Send Usha, another cloud seeding.
The winds are blowing onshore here. Kingston metropolitan area, right on the edge of that. So winds, as of right now, don't seem to be the issue in Kingston. But remember, all this is plowing moisture into these mountains that all has to run downhill, some of it through the capital, through gullies in the capital, and drain out at the same time that the wind is pushing the Caribbean seawater up into the harbor, holding back the drainage. So this is for the big part of the population center there. This is going to be the threat, more from the rain than from the wind. But on this side of the country, I mean, this looks devastating. Or maybe Mandeville in the middle of the country there.
And St. Elizabeth too, man.
Rios looks like it's going to get very hard hit.
We make Green buy them out. After they mash up, them is a piece of shit. Yes.
So we'll see how these various harbors fare here on either side of the storm based on what we know now. And then moving north, it's obviously going to weaken over the mountain some, but still a strong hurricane moving north. Very high confidence in the track. Everybody agrees, Google, European, and the Hurricane Center all on the same track there. There's the width of the Google swath, so you can see that it would be just a very low odds chance of the storm getting over super close to Jamaica. This is a very high confidence forecast right now. But we do have the storm surge up to 13 feet. 13 feet would be over closer to the track, be in here and in these bays. You see all these bays, the whole southern coast is kind of scalloped.
13 feet.
The bay catches the water, and then the water gets funneled up onto the coast in those bays. So out here, the winds won't be so strong. How will the airport do that's in Kingston Harbor? It's hard to tell because it's a close call now with the storm forecast to come ashore way out here. But hopefully they'll get through that. But the broader problem of drainage through the city is a whole different problem.
Yeah, the drainage.
Spectacular. The most extreme will be, remember the track is through here. Most extreme will be on the right side of the track, but then it comes
St. Elizabeth.
So you have
Westmoreland.
And look, we're up in the feet range here. Also, the very high mountains here outside of Kingston. Exactly how all this drains, I don't know, but you have all these mountains up in here. Everything that catches has to come down somewhere down.
I would drain them clog.
So daunting prospect here. It all begins later today, so through tonight and through tomorrow. And then the question is, how many areas are going to be cut off? I assume that significant number of communities, there will be no access to them with no communications and so forth. And some communities near the coast could be destroyed by this storm surge. There are, like the Treasure Beach is right there on the coast, and they can't deal with 13 feet of storm surge if that's indeed what they get right there. So anyway, a daunting situation, maybe a record-setting situation in the tropics, certainly record-setting for Jamaica. Guys?
Record-setting. At the top of the hour, Brian, I mean, from the pressure reading right now down to 908 millibars. I'm wondering from this approach, and you referenced when we talked to you a couple of hours ago, Hurricane Flora, but from this approach, I mean, with the northeast bend that eventually we'll see Melissa make, for Mandeville, I mean, that could be the worst case scenario. Somewhere along that coast, we're going to see a 13-foot storm surge, most likely.
Yeah, well, Mandeville is in the mountains. It's one of the few places that is not, right at the coast there. But the winds will be higher in the mountains, so it's daunting. Remember, the 165 is at the ocean surface, and then when you get up on the land, then you start weakening it a little bit. But the winds aloft continue. That's why the Hurricane Center is saying whatever they're forecasting at the ocean, 30% higher at the higher elevations. And
what? 30% higher?
Is in the way. It's not the highest elevation, but it's not the lowest elevation either. But there are those beach communities there in all those bays along the south coast of Jamaica that are going to be just devastated by this event here. It's going to happen tomorrow morning.
Yeah, less than 24 hours away. And I mean, not that it matters. Still a window to strengthen a little bit. We could maybe see this thing get higher.
Yeah, there's no reason it wouldn't, except for the eyewall replacement cycle process.
And then flatten the place, man.
For that to be completed. Remember that it forms a bigger eyewall, the inner eyewall dies out, and then that outer eyewall shrinks, and you get a bigger, stronger storm. But that takes time, and it seems like right now there's time. If it starts it, we may have a stronger hurricane when it's over, but if it delays until tonight to start that, and this is not well understood exactly what the mechanism is that gets this process really going, then it may run out of time and be at a weaker state when it came ashore, but as a bigger hurricane.
Yeah, it's a
bigger hurricane. We can
of it alone, because not often do we hear hurricane hunters in flight and there being such severe turbulence. And I don't know, do you make anything?
Them have turbulence and they have to turn back.
Section of the eye wall. We think of where the winds are the strongest, and that would be in the northeastern quadrant. But the fact that it was in the southwestern quadrant, am I splitting hairs here?
Well, I think, first of all, that the thing is very circular. It's essentially an annular kind of hurricane. So you have that. But also, remember that the P3s have fancy radars on them. So usually they can avoid this. And maybe for whatever reason, they didn't avoid it. It surprised them. So I don't think it has to do with where it is in the storm. More they got surprised by something they weren't expecting.
Yes, Sharon. Yes.
The resources they have to really see the details of where the worst part of the hurricane is.
Yeah, certainly. With it being the structure that it is, it's powerful around that entire eye wall. All right. Well, much more to watch throughout the afternoon. Fox Weather Hurricane Specialist
Brian Norcross, appreciate your analysis once again. You want to keep it here because our live coverage of Hurricane Melissa, it does continue after the break. We are going to head live to Jamaica
just after a quick break. Fox Weather's Robert Ray is on the ground. He's in Kingston, awaiting that landfall, which very well could happen in less than 24 hours from now. We'll be right back.
Right, man, I tell you.
For us with a Hurricane HQ Minute on 2023's Hurricane Otis, the forecast challenge, and the devastating impacts. Otis stunned everybody when it suddenly strengthened into a Category 5 hurricane and slammed Acapulco, Mexico. A day and a half before landfall, there wasn't much to see in the cloud pattern. Top winds were only 50 miles per hour.
A day before that slam, yeah. May I tell you, man? Yeah. Yeah. Man, we have so much wicked on the land on that and so much criminal and all kind of things. Anything happen? Remember it happened to other people too, you know. So remember, you know, let me tell you, as long as they have breath, expect the unexpected. And so many, you know them way the patrice? Yes. If you always never expect the unexpected, that way they know you know not surprise you. See? Not surprise you. I want me to tell them people I do. Them have to wake up. Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah, Jaja. Them have to wake up because hear this now. You have a government, 10 years. I'll be a part two. Now, can you imagine you go through some water you can't see? And it leak out your thing now, your shacks and be a damage, you know? The whole place mash up, you know? Because the place full of water, part two there, crocodile for kill, crocodile get food too, you know? Because just throw you a drown crocodile dry away. But you're underwater, crocodile swim come. You can't just walk in the water so a crocodile. Crocodile infested all over the place. From 1971, we put them as endangered species. In Florida, them try to control them. Apex predator. We lay so much egg, we have so much, you know, newborn. If nothing for trouble them dead enough. Do any park, do any pen. Center everywhere crocodile, you know. Yeah, this water, this thing, people are getting yam. Out of center, so when you try to run and think you escape, even when it's gone and too much water cycle, no for never get draw away. It's a devastation thing. And a joke thing. Serious. Now, Andrew, go back to jam act serious. Hey, for them brain work like my brain, you know, me say everything, you know, what me see, you know. Yeah. The bird are gone. The bird know, man. Them know. Yeah. It a empire. Because rain the panita you a drive. You drop in that tear off your wheel and tear off thing. No, Andrew never have to do no work because you have idiots come out. Him are the best prime minister doing nothing. Me ask you no point and tell me and show me what Andrew do. The infrastructure never maintained, you know. You don't know that. But the idiot, they're making a print a book. And I say, him do the most. Since I say, what him do? You can't show me one thing what him do. But Andrew do go around and treat them and cut some ribbon. If you look at one man room, them maroon off now. Yeah. No, man, Andrew just talk to them, Andrew left the country. Me don't hear that. No. Yes. People them are cussing now. That way, Pumval are cussing and them are cussing. Yes. You see, after this now, I know people are cuss. But when if you go and cuss, you know, because nobody must give them nothing, you know. When you can't go tell me you're not Jamaican. When if you go away. Yes. When if you get real, you put in government, make them do the work. Because you care the water, it could run out fast or do something. And I like you mash up, but when them are back up, and it's running a your place now, and lick down your place, you think everybody ever get back a house and get back this and get back furniture? Impossible. Not do it. Not do it. Yes. You see weeping and wailing and gnashing of teeth. Yeah? Because when I eat that, love in the belly too much and take trick. I'm going to play this.
And that pressure plummeting to just 908 millibars. That's one of the lowest pressures that we have seen this time of year. In fact, the lowest, only rivaling from 1998. Mitch had a low pressure of 910. So it's one of the strongest we have seen. And the fact that we're so late in the calendar year, the Caribbean, though, remaining untouched this entire season. So it doesn't matter if it's the end of October, even though we're closing the books slowly, but they are beginning to close on the Atlantic hurricane season. 165 mile per hour winds. So what has changed with this advisory? An important one to decipher. There was so much data collected from the hurricane hunters, the Air Force, as well as NOAA. They had their teams attacking this hurricane or watching this hurricane, getting some data. And some of the flight level winds, remarkable. Brian Norcross mentioning that at elevation, there was 240 mile an hour winds that were clocked with some of the instruments, the data that was being collected. 908 millibars, though, with that pressure, wondering if it could go even lower. We see the eye from the radar based in Kingston, and that storm, while showing that it's still moving off to the west, the ultimate forecast has it bending northwest and then eventually heading in the northeasterly direction. In fact, seeing where the cone has the actual center, which is an important component here, because since it's going to be making landfall over land, the winds most intense around that center, we're talking hurricane force extending some 30 miles away from the center. So someone in Jamaica is going to feel a direct hit. It will likely be a Category 5 at landfall. Never in recorded history has that happened in Jamaica. Then it moves into eastern Cuba.
Category 5.
And Caicos by midweek.
Hurricane Melissa already starting to cause impacts for Jamaica. This is video from St. Thomas Parish on Saturday showing extreme wind and rain. These are just the outer rain bands of Melissa, and residents continue to prepare for what could be a deadly storm. We're talking about 2 feet of rain, surge impacts where the south-facing shores of Jamaica could take on 12, 13 feet of water above normally dry ground. So every impact that is possible with a tropical system, whether it is wind, surge, rain, landslides, mudslides, tornadoes, we've barely even touched on that just yet. It will be the reality for Jamaica. And again, conditions are going to deteriorate very quickly later tonight. We're expecting landfall to be tomorrow, most likely before lunchtime. But please keep in mind, the landfall of a hurricane, it is a process. It's not like it just happens. It comes and it goes. So conditions will unfold and get very scary as we go past sunset tonight. There's a look at the watches and warnings, a hurricane warning for the entirety of Jamaica. We also have Cuba included in the hurricane warning, and then tropical storm warnings remain in effect for Haiti and the extension of Cuba past the hurricane warned area.
Eastern Cuba, Guantanamo, they're going to be under the threat too. And there's a growing threat that in Cuba we could have landslides because of the heavy rain that we'll see. It's going to start picking up speed after it passes over Jamaica, but still going to take another direct hit.
And the speed could be a huge contributing factor for Jamaica because these intense impacts that they will be feeling will last for hours and hours. Let's break this down per impacts. We're going to start with the wind. There's a look at the satellite. The eye feature very prominent, and that's where the winds will be, is right up against this eye wall. If this is still an intensifying hurricane, which right now, given what we're seeing with the reconnaissance data, it likely will be. That means that the eye wall will still be in contact unless we go through an eye wall replacement cycle, which would be a wild card that could maybe help us.
It could, because it could go through that weakening phase. And the Hurricane Center has been very clear. Knowing when that ERC, the eye wall replacement cycle, will occur is very tough to forecast. It's just something you have to watch on satellite.
You see it start happening on satellite, and then you know it's going to happen. So now past feature. But I think it's important to reference what you started this conversation with. A Cat 4 and Cat 5 is the same for Jamaica.
Yeah,
I mean, we're talking about the worst impacts they've ever felt. Now, if you look at the trajectory of the eye, just off of our exclusive Fox weather model, calling for that pass over Jamaica between 8 a.m. on the South Shore to about noon on the North Shore. This is just one model, one representation. But you look at the winds, you're like, okay, you guys are showing me numbers of 30 to 40 miles per hour. The thing is, it's very hard to capture the strongest wind gusts. So this is what the model is calling for the most dramatic wind gusts. Anywhere between 90 and 100 miles per hour is sort of the upper echelon for this particular computer model.
Right.
Again, when you're talking about wind gusts that I think all of us are assuming will be over 100 miles per hour for the peak wind gusts, we are talking about catastrophic impacts to the infrastructure.
And I want to mention too, because the Hurricane Center pointed it out, the winds that are going to be felt at higher elevations will be, and the stat that they use, the percentage, 30% stronger.
Yeah.
So think of 160-mile-an-hour hurricane. If those winds are 30% stronger, that's roughly 50 miles an hour. So you add that to whatever those maximum sustained.
And it's tough because that's where people are going.
Yeah.
You hide from the wind, you run from the water. And when you're talking about a storm surge, especially for this stretch, Kingston, the southeastern part of this island is where we'll see the peak storm surge, possibly 12 to 13 feet. Everybody is heading up towards the mountains, which of course is going to expose them to those dramatic winds. Again, that trajectory really pushes a huge amount of water onto the south-facing shores. Kingston, depending on where this comes in, it could be in for the most dramatic water rise because you're talking about inlets and bays amplifying the storm surge.
Airport, which is on a barrier island in Jamaica, south of Kingston, is an elevation of 3 feet. It is a low elevation airport.
So in worst case
barrier
scenario,
island,
10 feet of water on those runways.
It's totally flooded.
Worst case scenario.
Yeah, and the causeway, the one access point that we have to the airport, because there's one access point, it's a causeway and it goes over the bay, and that too could endure a significant storm surge. If this does move, which it looks like it will, just west, because remember that eastern side is always the worst.
There's a look at this causeway. Sorry, I should have pulled it up while you're having the conversation, but this is the causeway that Stephen was mentioning. So again, water inundation, surge impacts, it destroys the infrastructure. Getting past this disaster, the response efforts will be dependent on access to the airports. Of course, you got helicopters, but I mean, this is an island nation. And so accessing the island post-hurricane is going to be critically important. Moving on to some of the other aspects, the rain, we already have picked up rain from Melissa. That is only going to grow. And we're looking at rain projections of 30 to 40 inches. And when you're throwing it on mountaintops that are very high, above 7,000 feet, this is going to lead to landslides and mudslides. So we're talking about every single impact of this hurricane just adding up to what could be catastrophic impacts for Jamaica. Their highest mountain is Blue Mountain. That's over 7,000 feet. You throw, 30 plus inches of rain on that, it's going to come cascading down every hill.
And you had mentioned that you run from the water. Heading to higher elevations, a good idea from a perspective of Jamaica, but make sure that that building is not prone to flooding, that there's not going to be overwash. A lot of rivers and creeks being as far away from them. So anybody loved ones in Jamaica, I mean, that's the word of advice. Get into a sturdy structure.
And being able to be self-reliant for over a week.
Yeah.
I mean, there's going to be a lot of stories that come out post Melissa where you have little segments of the population that are stuck and isolated for an extended amount of time. So water needs for any sort of first aid if there's injuries, and food to sustain your group that you're riding this out with. Also, the highest risk level for rain trigger landslides is close to the most populated spots.
Yeah, no doubt. And that's where the highest peaks are in Jamaica. So as we focus and continue to focus on Melissa, we've got storms for ourselves. Stateside actually had some as early as this morning. Take a look.
There's a tornado in the parking lot.
All right. Oh. So, I could go square monitor. If we go and monitor what going. See? It don't look good for Jamaica. You see who said now come, want to stop on the foolishness. Stop it. Yeah. Stop it. Yeah. What if you do, get up, go do it. Yeah? Well, shelter if you know say yours no good. All I know when live and to motor for us, boy, I got the phone hustle. Nothing. But nobody have to stay and beat up for yourself. We know nothing I tell their shelter, but spare on the life. Me hear Andrew have when him ambassador, Peanut Red. Say him that pray for a storm, him wish a storm. Hurricane, even 100 miles. Peanut, you get your wish. And when the one of them up there, Peanut, so when the one of them up there, I just laugh. Can't them are dead, but to take them away. Peanut Dread. Said to take them away. Eh? This bad. The whole place, enough people lose them light already. Enough banana tree, enough thing mash up already. Gone. A matter of fact, I can't dare not play the Peanut Red there now. This is why I have to play that Peanut Red there. See me now?
Tom, come here. 100 bomber clock miles an hour. When me look all the car them up not the here. Hold on. Hey, listen. Hey, when you hold on pantry, say, yeah, your hand pop out some blood clot. Blood the breeze asleep, right? Yeah. No. You see anytime me up there with them, I want me look and see no me alone no my did. Rastafari. You see when me up there with them bumbo clot, eh? Yeah. And me say I had no power up there, go so. Yeah. I saw me the pan. Hey! Don't fuck out there. Me know me out there, you know. But me no care. Me only want to see when me look. I know you want. The blood clot car symbol on. Human being. You want you sweep on a ras clot and me say yes. This is it. This is it. Yes. Call them are dead and not dead fast enough for me, yeah? Cause the world when me born going to say is wrong. I preach equal rights and justice. I preach equal rights and justice and peace and love, brother. And nothing like that me no born going to say, yeah, brother? Yes, sir.
And say the one of them, that take him up. And a big one come for you, you know. A big one. Eh? Peanut bad feet and them get it. Peanut ask for it. And get it. Yes. The mark see it, man, and get it. It's supposed to all right now. I'm going to put back this here, so.
Tomorrow morning. So afternoon throughout the day today, we're going to see rain in Florida and then the Carolinas.
Still ahead here on Weather Command, we continue to track Melissa. Once Melissa moves away from the Caribbean, the storm is expected to head towards Bermuda by the end of the week. After the break, we'll take a look at what is next for Melissa as it really pushes further north into the Atlantic and whether some of that tropical moisture could impact nasty Halloween weather for East Coasters. We'll give you an insight to this forecast coming up next from Weather Command.
Open up to a world of quality seafood. Responsibly sourced, deliciously crafted, and loved for generations. Highliner, the captain of seafood for 125 years.
Innovate sells products made out of paper, toilet tissue, and local newspapers.
At Besso Floor & Decor, everything you need is within our store. Everything you see is within our stock. Everything you want is within our services. Besso. We craft your home.
She's chosen another.
You're broccoli. Weirdo. Love yourself.
If you want to build an app and have no idea how to code or where to start, check out Base 44. I built this daily habit tracker that helps users log small wins, track their mood, reflect on past entries, and see how far they've come. It's fully functional, and I didn't write a single line of code. You start by describing your idea, what you want it to do, the features, the look and feel. Now watch Base do its magic. Designing the interface, building the database, wiring the logic. It's like asking a team of engineers, designers, and product managers to create your vision instantly. Once you have your first version, you just keep going. I add dark mode, polish the transitions, and make sure it works smoothly across devices. The best part, I can just stay in flow. No blockers, no switching tools, just building. So start with your idea. Base 44 does the rest.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Pause this. Yeah, man. Pause that. Nah, yeah, that. I'm put it down back.
And we're giving you the view of Kingston Harbor, Jamaica. You could experience right here.
A remarkable storm surge as high as 13 feet. That's above
13 feet.
And never in recorded history has Jamaica been hit by a Category 5 hurricane. Melissa's going to have it all. With
so the first one get a Category 5
surge, catastrophic floods. The Jamaican Prime Minister announcing on Sunday that he had issued mandatory evacuation orders for vulnerable areas of Kingston and surrounding areas. In fact, when we're looking at it, the Prime Minister urging Jamaicans to be ready for what lies ahead.
In addition to preparing the country for the impact of the hurricane, we are also taking steps to position ourselves for the recovery following impact. The security forces will ensure there is no break in public order during and after the hurricane. We will take all steps under the law to protect life and property from looting and other antisocial behavior. We urge all citizens to observe the laws and various orders that may be issued and act wisely in limiting movement and gatherings to what is necessary.
It has remained over the weekend a pretty concerning trend, too, as we continue to look live there in Kingston, because Melissa, less than 100 miles away, has a remarkable wind field associated with it, especially near that eye wall. That eye wall that we actually are watching carefully is forecast to move over Jamaica. Exactly where that might happen, there's still some wiggle room, but we know that there is going to be a landfall in Jamaica. And we're hoping for the best for people living there. Our correspondent Robert Ray is going to be joining us this afternoon. But the Caribbean, when we look at what this season has featured in this part of the Atlantic Basin, it's had nothing but time to warm all season. So that's one of the reasons why we saw this extreme rapid intensification over the weekend, where it went from a 70-mile tropical storm, 70-mile-an-hour tropical storm, to a Category 4 hurricane with winds of 140 miles an hour. This is the latest advisory from the NHC. We've been diving into it, 165-mile-per-hour winds. It is even stronger, and it remains moving at a very slow pace to the west at just 3 miles an hour. This pressure, though, can't get enough of that. 908 millibars. The fact that it has plummeted, that's an indication that the storm continues to deepen. We have seen systems, hurricanes in the Atlantic Basin that have dropped below 900 millibars before. So this isn't the strongest or the lowest pressure that we've ever observed, but it is among the lowest pressures. That number, 908, is among the top 10. In fact, it's 9th when you look at the lowest pressures ever observed in the Atlantic Basin. And you look at the past and the history of Melissa, where we go back to Saturday at 11 o'clock with that advisory as it became a major hurricane, and it ramped up to 140-mile-an-hour hurricane on Sunday. It maintained that intensity. Some questions I know that were swirling about how in an environment so pristine was this able just to maintain itself and not continue to strengthen. A little bit of wind shear can do a lot on a system, and perhaps that's just one of the factors that we saw over the weekend. But that has since weakened, and we have now seen this be able to climb to 165 miles an hour with that pressure of just 908 millibars. So we're taking a look at it on infrared satellite. It's got quite a look, right? A very strong, classic look to a hurricane. Kingston, from a measuring standpoint, we're talking less than 100 miles. We have that previous track on it, but from where the NHC has marked it to where it's at, a little over 115 miles or so. It continues moving west, but maybe we are beginning to watch it reach that, as Cody had mentioned when the meteorologist off camera, this imaginary wall, and we're going to watch this thing make that bend toward the northwest. As we wait on the movement to change, the hurricane hunters have been flying through this. Now, previously we were showing you, I believe it was a blue line. That's the NOAA hurricane hunters. These are the hurricane hunters from the Air Force. NOAA, they have gone ahead and turned back. In fact, it was them, the NOAA hunters, in their P3, that plane where it encountered severe turbulence. And according to the note from the National Hurricane Center, in the southwestern eye wall, it's on this side. So that made them need to leave the hurricane and head back. So they're heading back.
Hey, people!
But
hey, you saw them people that
make another pass right through the center. So we'll be collecting more data. It's been fascinating to watch, just meteorologically speaking. Since this morning, we've watched as those winds have been increasing as they make that pass right through the center. Alerts still remain the same. Hurricane warnings in effect for Jamaica, eastern Cuba. We have hurricane watches in effect for the southeastern Bahamas, as well as Turks and Caicos. Western Haiti has that tropical storm warning. In fact, the entire coastline of Haiti, no longer are we just talking about the Tiburon Peninsula. There's a pretty significant rain band that could set up over Haiti and produce additional problems on top of what we've already been dealing with, tragically, with the loss of life already being confirmed in the country of Haiti. This is the observed, the data that we're getting from the hurricane hunters. Anytime you see that steep drop, that's right as they were passing through the eye. It's wild to see, and no question, the most intense part of any storm, always that eye wall. And since they make two passes, right, they have to go inbound and then outbound, you're going to see those winds spike up. And the fact that the peak is essentially the same just tells you how well fortified this hurricane has become, and it is, in a way, producing its entire environment, something that we'll be certainly watching. Jamaica, meanwhile, on high alert, will be one of the strongest hurricanes to ever in recorded history affect the island. Another live look for you in Kingston, Jamaica.
One of the strongest
in the capital. Those waves beginning to kick up. We have much more on Melissa's path and intensity when we come back.
Hi, I'm Kiana Lewis.
All right, so I have no more things to go deal with, you know. So let me give them some things. Let me give you a quick thing. Yeah. You see the matter about flying at the wall? Them people do some tremendous job, you know. Yeah, when some people might have things are some satellite and data. Them flying there, drop something in there like with balloon down on it and measure everything what I tell you. Them risk them life for do this. See them here? Go.
There's only one way to find out.
Hey, and then when them do that now, them drop something like with something in there for we, and them do everything in there, you know. Them risk them life for we know. So when them tell you about how it can move and thing, them fly and check it. Fly night. So you see, hey, yeah man. See? So one of them things are what we watch, coming to watch movie and them things, you know. Them things are what we know a long time. Some more, you know, fascinating to know how you, some more know, me have to study these things. That's why I'm telling you, some talk on a wide range of topic where them can't face me. They may want me know about long time. You know what? If him say I want, me can just go to it and show you. Cause them think I'm a watchman. See? Some of them watch movie on TV like some other people and this show and documentaries. See? Yes. And some real thing. So we study some real thing and talk about some real thing. When you bring up a topic, we did at the same time. You understand? Yeah, man. We have to do at the same time. So I know when them tell you say it's a turn or it's a steer, what have you, them go leave with some sampling night and send back. And like them I use the satellite way up so and look and say yes, this and that. No, them fly night. You hear me do something? Them a fly and them have to turn back the way they want to Jamaica now violent. Them in it and them get so much, them have it bigger and is a monster. And you have some people each up in Jamaica, so it now come on God, they couldn't take God for plaything. With them the raper, pedophile pastor there. When you come, hey, when you wake up. Tell them to wake up, John. Yes. What if tell them to wake up? Go on there. Not playing with them. Well, I give them a reality check. See? That's a reality check. Yeah, man. So, Uno, wake up. Yes. Uno reach a shelter yet? Find a shelter for go. Low lying areas. Me see them don't occupy it, so they must stay for boat. Not a wise idea, yeah? Remember say the country, hey, remember say all drain black, Andrew don't fix nothing, you know? Well, Andrew already know, because we see the drain them black. Because rain a fall before and the land saturated with water. So light posts a drop, enough more drop, hey, a billions. I bet you them are go more than 40, 50 billion. Hey, if the mine shop is $100 billion, what a wreckage or more. Me I tell you this, I'm more than that. See? Well, Andrew look for outside world for selling some things and they rob that too, you know. That will not work. The guy no maintain no road, nothing. So I'm going to always come and blame the storm. Yes. You say all the spark money, yeah, yes, so them spend it on road, all road when I fix it. Them all said it fix it, the hurricane do it so. It never fix. Because water run per road that make it for mash up. Eh? Them mash up. Them worse. The man no clear, no drain, nothing. Nothing no do for the infrastructure. Place dirty, stink it, mash up. All the man do, it put on more taxes. Everything go plus taxes. Yeah? All the shit start that from 2017. And you have some clean up people. If do no new taxes because you're not an idiot. It's right there, just look at the house and all the child read. I mean, I'll show it. I'll show it a million times, I couldn't see it. When I do the budget, it's there, it's documented. Lie him a tell. Nobody can lie like him, so better. The thing documented with all the child raise up the what I think then. And you sit down and I say no new taxes. And by the way, everything gone up the dollar devalue. Taxes go up too. You pay more taxes. And when you look on 2015, 2014, you tell me if you used to pay the rent where you pay. If it's cheaper. Tell me if your bus fare or any your light bill or water rate or your food cheaper. And your building material and things. So why you follow Andrew only say not about PMP and then put on you wanna eat that, you know? You used to spend so much money for nothing at all. Eh? The man come and say, this is the best time in your life for you follow these things. You can't serve for them. Yeah, Rick. You can't them an idiot. Anybody tell you this, he might tell you a lie. That's why you can't trust Andrew. If you come and tell us, well, look, your life better off. You can't pay rent. Bus fare nearly double. Every food stuff from bread, everything gone up sky high. And you want to compare it to saying a PMP time, Mama P time. You better off now. When you don't have the money, you don't even have work. You tell yourself lies. You need to stop it. We don't talk to them now. Yes. Me just go and do what I do. Because I call some people all up the length and better Jamaica. So I go and go do that. And I come back later. Come hold them. Yeah? All right. We there. We out. Later. I'm out. Less.
Some we a beat it till the hammer burn. We now make them get in on them and again. None of them boy that we not honor them. We in lump some we a beat it till the hammer burn. We now make them get in on them and again. None of them boy that we not honor them. We alone some rise up the bomb and do.
When people like the government of a country, it's the servants protect the people of that country, not to put their life in misery. You understand me, Luciano? What else,
Government, stop pressuring the poor.
Oppression.
Politicians, your judgment coming for so. It's a government in your regiment. Stop pressuring the poor.
We can't take it no more.
Politicians, your judgment coming for so.
Yo, politicians, for the evilest mission, who no we blame. True money and power.